Here's a set of turbos I did a project on. This is making a ball bearing center cartridge fit inside of a GT22. So the GT22, this is the GT2256 from the N63 engine from the BMW. You could also do this to the, well, I guess if you had the reverse compressor wheels and reverse turbines, you could do this to the M5, but since these are forward, you can't do that with this setup. I took this, machined it out on CNC to the GTX3076R compressor wheel, and then I also took these plates, these were TO4E plates, and I machined them down to fit inside of the original compressor housing. These I backed off a millimeter, or actually almost a millimeter, a little bit more than half a millimeter, 0.66 millimeter. I backed these off because I didn't want this to go deeper into the cartridge more than I would have to, just because the GTX 3076R compressor wheel is so tall. So the compressor wheel size we have in here is 58 millimeter by 76 millimeter. You can see how close it comes to the blow-off valve port. So it was a pretty good idea that I did back it off. We don't have an issue with the wheel sticking into the blow-off valve port. I'm also going to take the front of this and sleeve it so it can have an inlet that we can grab a coupler on rather than having whatever style inlet that it had before. So this is the original compressor housing machined out for a Garrett GTX 3076R compressor wheel. These turbos are rated around 580 horsepower for a single. So to have two of them, it should be close to 11 to, yeah, I guess it should be close to around 1100 horsepower. That's the first one. This is the second one. These plates, I actually machined those by hand just using the measurements. That's typically something I haven't done on CNC, which I haven't felt comfortable yet to do that. So that's why I just machined those by hand. It took a lot longer, but at least I didn't want to stretch out of my comfort zone. And for these, I actually didn't realize that the plate dimension to the housing is actually smaller and doesn't necessarily fit tight there. It actually fits tight on this inside diameter rather than this diameter. But when I did the second plate, I went ahead and took the second plate and made it tight here and tight here at this diameter. And also an O-ring goes in here, so we don't have to worry about that sealing. Normally, some of the Garrett turbos, or the Garrett series turbos, don't have an O-ring, so I usually machine them for that.